On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at doing a tasting review of Curado Tequila right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at doing a tasting review of Curado Tequila. Now, if you didn't watch my live interview with Carlos Camarena, you missed where we talked a little bit about this brand, but don't worry, we're going to get into some more details about that next. All right, so let's get into the production of this tequila. Now, interesting note, this particular tequila used to be made at NOM 1474 La Distillería La Alteña, but it's switched distilleries and it's now at Los Alambiques, but it's still NOM 1474. How does that happen? Well, like I've explained before many times, the NOM number is not necessarily assigned to the distillery, but to a holding company that holds the license to distill. So if they build a new distillery, they can move the NOM number to the new distillery and still distill under that NOM number. And that's exactly what happened here. Okay, so Curado, when it's made, they use brick hornos for cooking the agave. They use a roller mill to extract the sugars. They ferment in wooden tanks, and then they twice distill using copper pot stills. Now, one of the things that's really different with these, there's three different expressions we're going to look at today. There's Espadine, and you can see on the top it says Espadine. There's Cuprietta. There you go. And there is Agave Azul. Now, because of the regulations for the CRT, they cannot bring the Cuprietta and the Espadine into their production facility. It is against the rules there. So what they had to do is rent a warehouse and then truck the tequila to the warehouse with the agave and then steep the agave in the tequila in the other warehouses, because with CRT regulations, they cannot bring any other agave besides Weber Blue Agave into their distillery. So that's how they did that. I'm not sure if they used the warehouse for the Weber Blue or not. I should have asked Carlos when we had him. But if you watch that episode, the interview episode, you'll see he actually talked about it in there. And so these are steeped with other agave. So that's why you see the color. It's not aged in a barrel. That comes from steeping the cooked Cuprietta into the tequila. This comes from steeping the cooked Weber Blue Agave. And this comes from steeping the cooked Espadine in the tequila. It gets that color from the natural color of the agave. All right, so let's not waste any more time. You can see I'm opening these bottles. Let's get into the tasting portion and see what this tequila is all about. All right, so our first victim we're going to be tasting and reviewing is going to be the Agave Azul, because what better than to start with Weber Blue Agave, right? That's what we're all used to with tequila. So let's see what happens if we steep Weber Blue Agave in with this tequila. Now, interesting enough, these are really kind of considered additives, but they're still allowed to do it and call it a Blanco, which is kind of strange. I asked Carlos about that too. I'm not sure how that works, because this is like an additive, although they're adding Weber Blue Agave to this particular one. I don't know the rules or how that works. I should probably get some clarification on that. I know another brand steeped Weber Blue Agave in their Blanco. I'm not sure how they did it though, but they had to call it a Joven. They couldn't call it 100% Weber Blue Agave Blanco, but this one gets to call itself a Blanco and still 100% Weber Blue, because it is still 100% agave. But I'm not sure about the whole being able to do it, because it's basically an additive without having to call it something else like a Joven, because by the law, Blancos cannot have anything added to them. So I'm not sure how that works. I may have to get some clarification from Carlos on that. All right, so looking at this one in the glass, it coats the glass really nicely. Look at how viscous it is. The legs and tears are forming at the top. My mouth is already starting to water. It just looks really super oily, which is good. It means it's going to coat the mouth nicely. Looking at the tequila, it's got a nice golden, light golden color to it. Very crystal clear, specks of light flashing through it. It looks fantastic. All right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. Oh, yeah. All right. It's super sweet on the nose. Now, not sweet. Well, I guess it is kind of additive way, because there is an additive in this, in that it's Weber Blue Agave. But if you've ever been to a distillery and smelled agave cooking, or after it's just cooked, it smells exactly like that, like by the tons. So it's got a kind of a honey-esque sweetness on the nose. Oh, super good. I'm getting fruit like plum on it as well. Apricot coming through. Even some peach type of... No, it smells delicious. It smells so good. It's got this really nice ripe fruit sweetness that's just coming through on the nose. It's fantastic. All right, let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Beautiful, rich, sweet, cooked agave. Just like picking up a piece of cooked agave and just biting into it and sucking all the juice out of it. It's just absolutely beautiful. This is a really great representation of what cooked agave tastes like. So if I was to say, hey, if you were to take cooked agave and make it alcohol, but still want to represent the true taste of what cooked agave tastes like when you bite into a fresh piece of cooked agave, that's actually cooled down, because otherwise you torture your mouth to death because it's so hot. But after it's cooled down, of course, this is what it would taste like. It's beautiful. Really nice, rich cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, fruit coming through, plum, apricot, hint of peach in there, nutmeg, cloves. I mean, it's just a full opera of agave taste in your mouth. It's fantastic. I give this one 5 agave for just being absolutely mind-blowingly good as far as like cooked agave goes. Now, you know what this is really good for? If you have friends that like the sweet tequila and like Clase Azul and stuff, this is all natural. So give them some of this. This will blow their mind. They'll be like, oh my God, this stuff is so good, because it's very sweet, because it has that really good cooked agave, real juice in it from steeping the cooked agave in it in the warehouse. Or if they, I think they did this one at the warehouse too, but in the warehouse, to really develop that cooked agave flavor. Absolutely good. All right. So that's the Agave Azul. Let's take a look at the Cuprietta next. All right, Cuprietta reporting for duty. So here we go. This is the Cuprietta. You can see Cuprietta. There you go. So this is Cuprietta is a different agave. Used a lot for mezcals. So you can find some Cuprietta mezcals out there. So what they did is they sourced this Cuprietta. And I believe this one was sourced from Michoacan. And then they steeped it in a warehouse in a distant empire far, far away, amongst the watching eyes of the CRT to make sure they're compliant with all the rules and regulations, because you do not want the CRT angry at you, because they can make life very difficult on you if they want to. So it's good to keep them happy, follow the rules, follow the laws, and everything's good. And that's exactly what they did with this. So this is Cuprietta steeped inside distilled Weber Blue Agave tequila in a distant warehouse, because they could not bring this agave into their distillery because it's not allowed by the CRT. So looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. You can see the legs and tears coming down. So it's going to have a nice viscous, thick mouthfeel. The last one did too. So this one, I'm sure, is going to be beautiful on that. Looking at the tequila, it is a nice golden brown, which is the color that it got from steeping the Cuprietta in it. It just does not see the inside of a barrel, so there's no barrel aging to this at all. Okay, so let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, very nice, sweet, ripe cooked agave on the nose. Getting some of that same honey notes from it. There's cherry coming through on it, and then it's like vanilla and caramel too. It's very similar to what it would smell like coming from a barrel, actually. Kind of interesting. But it smells great. It smells really good. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile of this. Coats the mouth beautifully. Nice cooked agave, so cinnamon and baking spices up front. Getting a hint of cherry in there. Some fruit like plum coming through. And then I'm getting a little hint of vanilla that's coming through after that. So it's got a really nice vanilla note that finishes. And then that vanilla note, kind of creamy vanilla note, sits on the tongue and kind of hangs there for a little bit. Everything coats the mouth really nicely. So the finish is actually kind of long on it. So it's really pleasant. It hangs around for a little while, gives you little hugs and some pecks on the cheek and stuff while it's visiting with you in your mouth. And it just, it tastes great. It tastes really good. This is really good. So I actually like this one too. I'd probably give this one 4 agave. I really like the Weber Blue so far. That one really had a nice cooked agave note where it's like, okay, I could use that to show people this is what cooked agave tastes like when you tried it at a warehouse, at a distillery, if you ever tried it when it's cooked. All right, so that's Cuprietta. Let's see what we get from the Espadine next. All right, so the next victim is going to be Espadine. This one, they sourced the Espadine from Oaxaca. And then, of course, like I said in the previous expressions, they cannot bring Espadine into the CRT distillery, so they had to use a different warehouse for steeping the Espadine into the tequila. All right, so pour a little bit of this, and let's see what we get on it. I'm excited. These are good. I picked these up in Mexico. We will have them coming in. I'm checking to see if we can get them on this fermenting still here pretty quickly. Hopefully we can. All right, so looking at them in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Just starting to form the legs and tiers from the top there. There they go, right there. Look at that. So it's going to have a nice viscous mouthfeel too. It's been pretty consistent across all the expressions so far, where it's got a nice, thick, oily, viscous mouthfeel that coats the mouth beautifully. Gives you a nice medium to long finish. It's kind of interesting where I'm getting kind of a salinity on that last one, where it's like a little salinity on the end of it. A little salty salinity. All right, clean the palate off and let's see what we get from the Espadine. So on the nose on this, this one definitely has that really sweet cinnamon and baking spices up in the front. Definitely picking up a vanilla note from this one. It has a nice ripe fruit, but for this one, I'm getting more. Yeah, it's plum. It's kind of plum, and then like a hint of peach in there as well. But it's super sweet, like ripe fruit on the nose. So it smells really good. I think most people, when they smell this, will go like, yeah, this smells really good. But it definitely has that sweet cinnamon and then nutmeg and cloves notes that are coming through from the agave in the front. It smells great. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Coats the mouth beautifully. Nice, oily, viscous mouthfeel. This one's a little subdued on the agave, but you still get that cinnamon and baking spices up front. And then it's more of like a light pear fruit taste that comes in on the beginning of it. And it's kind of, this one's a little bit lighter in flavor than the other ones were. Very easy to sip. There's no heat on any of these. These are all very easy, or like people like to call it smooth. I hate that word, but people describe it that way. Very easy to drink. No harsh burn to it. Very mild on the flavor on this one. I'm not getting a whole lot of flavor notes, but it's well balanced where you get the Weber Blue Agave notes up front. And then, actually on the end of it, I'm picking up more of like a tart green apple finish on this, which is kind of interesting. I like that. Let me check that out one more time here. Yeah, cinnamon and baking spices up front. Nutmeg, cloves there too. A little bit of pear, like the light sweet fruit note that comes in the beginning. And then you get this a little bit of anise that comes in, and then it turns to like a tart, the green apple note, which is kind of cool. I like that. It's very interesting. But it's very light, very easy to drink. Makes a great sipper to sip this thing all day. I would enjoy it with some stogies. Definitely, absolutely all of these would be great with some stogies. And I give this one 4 agave. It's good. So far my favorite out of all of these is the Weber Blue Agave one. That one just blew my mind as far as how much agave flavor they can get in that bottle. It was ridiculous. So if you guys have to pick one, that's the one I'd recommend. But hey, grab all of them and try them, because I think you might find these to be extremely interested as well. All right, if you have any questions, comment below, let me know. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Tequila Hombre community. Don't forget to click the subscribe button below and click the notification bell next to it, so you get notified every time I put a video up or go live with one of our live streams. We'd love to see you more frequently. And more importantly, remember, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So keep following when I tell you, try some of my suggestions, and you'll be in good shape. And don't forget to grab some Curado. It's great stuff. Salud. Bye, guys.